This is Duke University.
Hi, my name is Alicia Rhodes, and I'm an assistant director with the Career Center, leading the discovery and exploration career community. Now I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Catherine.
Hi, everyone. I'm Catherine Allen. I'm also an assistant director in the Career Center, where I manage the data and technology career community. We're excited to team up with Kiana Morris of VMware to share a bit more about tech jobs that do not require coding. Enjoy.
Hey everyone, I'm Kiana Morris, and I am here today to share with you non-tech careers in tech. I currently work at VMware, and I'm a university candidate experience recruiter. And I also source for candidates. So on my daily basis, we'll learn a little bit more about what I do. So a little bit about me before we get started with the presentation. I am from Raleigh, so not too far from Duke. And I received my bachelor's degree from Winston-Salem State University, and I received an elementary education. And I also received a master's degree in career counseling from North Carolina Central University. And I taught elementary and middle school for about 5 years here in North Carolina. And I also have experience in higher education, working in career services, as well as in talent acquisition in the university side of things, as well as a recruiter for a staffing agency. And I've also dabbled in entrepreneurship. So I'm really excited to share some of my experience and knowledge with you all today. So a bit about VMware, if you have or have not heard of it or seen commercials or things of that nature. So they are the leading provider of multi-cloud services for all apps, enabling digital innovation with enterprise control. So our software delivers the freedom and flexibility businesses need to build the future. So we are headquartered in North Carolina, but most of our positions are remote actually, but a lot are still in Palo Alto, California, where we're headquartered. We do have a location in, excuse me, in Austin, Texas, where most of my colleagues sit, as well as in Atlanta, Georgia. So we have about just under 40,000 employees. So it's a lot, but my team is so fantastic. Like it really feels like I'm a person and not a number. And you'll see our different locations on a map a little later, but we revenued last fiscal year about just under $12 billion. That's a lot of money. And so we'll jump and see some more of our successes on another slide, but over 20 years of innovation at VMware, started and founded in 1998 and all up and through the 2000s. Excuse me. And I learned about VMware around 2017 and 2018, so just around their 20-year mark. And I was actually recruiting for individuals who were familiar with VMware, who worked in hospitals. And you'll see in one of our videos later that I'll share how VMware actually does help the healthcare industry. And so ways that we provide innovation for our customers using a cloud native app platform, cloud infrastructure, and anywhere workspace and secure edge. So definitely tight on networking security, and definitely management. Security is big for anybody. If you use any type of cell phone, if you've logged into anything on your computer, you know how big security and saving data is. So these are some of our awards and recognitions, and I will say that VMware deserves these awards and recognitions. I've been at companies where they've had a lot of awards, but it didn't really feel like it. It was definitely a different ballgame working there, but VMware definitely to me in my head is the best place to work. And so having that, as an award is definitely great. I'm proud to work at a company like this that honors, diversity and women, and just really like the experience here. It really does kind of speak for itself. And so as mentioned before, here's a map of all of our offices. and about 128 countries. That's not our offices. These are our global preferences, but some of them do show our locations, honestly. Some of my colleagues sit in Europe, so it's really interesting talking to them, and the time changes. So we are everywhere. We're in about 50, I believe 50 different countries is where we have offices located, but our global presence, this is where we're located. Like that's a lot to me. So just, 10K plus cloud data centers, 4,000 partners, that is a lot. So we do tremendous work here on the global level as well. So you can also see where we are in green, and then AWS, which is Amazon Web Services, Google, Azure, and IBM, where their services are in the lighter blue color. So VMware takes diversity very seriously and is working hard to, combat the gender pay gap. And the leadership does provide employees with a healthy work-life balance. I will say that and speak that forever. It's definitely felt here. Even when working in university relations, we have seasons just like you all have seasons where you have midterms and finals and things are busy and crazy. It's just like that for us here, where we have things that are busy and our schedule kind of aligns with your schedule, but doesn't always line up with our fiscal year. But we have times where we're busy, but we still maintain that healthy work-life balance here. We also have about 40 hours where we are paid to do community activities such as volunteering and things of that nature. So even at a lower level, there is a sense that VMware does care. And I really like that about this company. So these are some of our products. So if you have a computer science background, or maybe you've logged on to maybe a remote job or things of that nature, you might be familiar with some of these. I'm familiar with vSphere and VMware Fusion a little bit, VMware View, but these are just some of our products here. And this is, when I say product, this is what we sell, what we offer at an enterprise level, or these are what we offer our clients and customers and services that we have. And so here we'll watch a quick video about what we do at VMware.
You may be surprised, but VMware technology is here. Work at VMware and you're part of an innovative team that is powering change everywhere. Behind the scenes, we provide the flexibility to run applications anywhere, accelerating innovation, not just for our healthcare customers like Angel MedFlight, but for the people who depend on them. And that's only made possible because of our employees.
My name is Biljana. I'm a staff quality engineer working in Sofia, Bulgaria. One of our healthcare customers ended up having a day without an IT service that prevented the doctors and medical staff from being able to check diagnostic results and access patient-related data. Then they integrated VMware and solved most of their problems.
Everyone at VMware, from our engineers and marketers to our sales teams and legal experts, plays a part in helping people, businesses, and communities thrive in a fast-changing world.
I'm Martin Peter, based in Bangalore and lead professional services sales for VMware in India. As a services organization, we really spend a lot of time with our customers in understanding their core business challenges and long-term business priorities, and design prescriptive services and framework to deliver targeted outcomes.
Our multi-cloud solutions give our customers flexibility, and we do the same with our employees. Because we know it's your work, your ideas, and your innovations that make delivering emergency medicine at 40,000 feet just another day at the office. VMware. Innovate here, transform everywhere.
All All right, so as mentioned, I'm going to discuss some non-tech career paths, and I'm going to focus more today on talent acquisition, which is what I do, as well as some careers that we have in sales and marketing. And when you have such a big company like VMware, there are positions within an industry, and then sometimes they overlap. So it's very interesting, but I always encourage you to check out our career sites. We have lots of new grad positions open as well as internships still available. So talent acquisition and human resources. You need someone to work for the company, right? I think a lot of people, when they think about tech, they just focus on the tech. It's actually a business still, right? So we need someone to hire people. We need someone to help out with, benefits. We need payroll. We need who's going to help us with operations and talent engagement and coordinate all these things and compensation and legal aspect of things, marketing, sales. So individuals, I think they get lost in the, oh, I have to be able to code. Hey, no, it's still a business, right? Just like if we go to Walmart or Target, we see the store, but there are still some operations behind. When those doors close, there's still people working, not necessarily in the store, but maybe they're behind the scenes working in HR at a bigger level or engagement, or, on the legal side, they need public relations. It's just like any other business. They still need, teams, to help run. They can have all the software developers and computer programmers all they want to, but what good is it if no one is buying the product, or they're not legally protected, from anything, or they don't have any, PR and any marketing to get the word out about the great things that they're doing. Right. So that's why for me, it's important to, showcase and make people aware of all the different career choices and career paths you can have in tech. And even if you have, a tech background, but you don't want to go into programmer coding, you want to be on a more customer facing side, or, you want to go into HR, these are options that are available to you. So talent acquisition and human resources, we find people to work for the company. Human resources is more so on the compensation, benefits, payroll side of things. Talent acquisition is something that I do, acquire talent, right? That talent engagement, whether you're on a university level where you're recruiting for interns and new grads, or you are, working with experienced hiring senior level executive. So talent sourcers, which is what I do, I reach out to passive candidates and conduct phone screens. In a nutshell, that's what I do. I actually sit on calls, we call them intake calls, with hiring teams and a recruiter, and we kind of work as a team. And the hiring managers, we ask them questions. What are they looking for? GPA, is it a remote role? Is it hybrid? What skills are you looking for? Maybe what schools offer these programs that you're looking for? What would you like to see in a candidate? Hard skills, soft skills, any coding involved, things of that nature. We, ask all of these questions, then we type up a form, and it's like, okay, this is what I'm going to go look for. I conduct a Boolean search, which, if you've taken a math class, or even if you've searched at the library on some of those softwares, databases, there's a Boolean search with the and the or and the is and is not. So some of those Boolean strings I do use LinkedIn heavily, but I also use Handshake, sometimes Simplicity as well, to reach out to candidates. And we have our own internal resources that we use as well. So when I reach out to candidates, I'm looking for, who is closely aligned to the things that they're looking for. And I dig deep. It's kind of like a hunt. So in sourcing, we say happy hunting. And so after I reach out to the candidates via email, I ask them to schedule a time to chat with me, just to see if this is something that they're looking for. Maybe it's not. I've had conversations with people who this is not what they were looking for, what I initially reached out to them for. However, they're interested in other roles or positions at VMware, which is fine. I'm glad to have the conversation with anyone. So as far as recruiters, they take it a step further. And if you've ever had a job, 9 times out of 10 that you've talked to a recruiter before, they work closely with the hiring managers versus I myself work closely with the recruiters. And so hiring managers, they determine what positions are open. So on that intake call, they could have 10 of those intake calls, and or they could have one team that's hiring 10 different positions. So different things of that nature. So after the phone screen, they'll kick off the interview process. They'll usually may do an interview themselves with the candidates, or they'll pass them along to the hiring manager. So it's different for each team sometimes, just depend on what is the need and what is required. Of course, if it's for a PhD level candidate, it might be a bit different than someone who is going to be in our inside sales position. But of course, they walk the candidate through each round of the interviews. If it's a yes, continuing on. If it's no, it's having that conversation with that candidate. And they're also responsible for hiring and offering hiring packages. So if you've ever gotten an internship or a job, it's calling saying, hey, we want to offer you this position at X amount of money starting on this date, and that's what they do. On my next slide, you'll see more what the coordinator does and has to do in this position as well. There's no tech required, but over time, you will become very familiar with tech. I had no idea what Kubernetes, Linux, I'm trying to think of some other ones, Docker and containers. I had no idea what these, task things were in software and computer science, but now I definitely know and I'm familiar with it, but no, I will not go get a computer science degree. And so some other roles that I mentioned and some other paths, compensation, benefits, payroll, and within these paths, you still have smaller roles that you could possibly do. Sometimes it's leading our software that we have, our HR software. Sometimes it's more something on a global level, global HR level, or engagement of something of that nature. Basic educational requirements typically are maybe something in HR, or maybe something in, I'm going to stop my videos. It's freezing. So maybe it's something in HR, finance, business communication, psychology, something of that nature. Some of these programs or paths do require a master's level degree. But again, that is depending upon the task that will be at hand. Some of the day-to-day responsibilities that talent recruiters, sourcers, and coordinators do. We actually all work together to bring talent to the business. Recruiters, as I mentioned, they typically meet with the managers to discuss those hiring needs and find candidates for those needs, and then interviewing and staying with that candidate through the interview process. Coordinators typically assist in that communication piece, especially when it comes to scheduling or something doesn't work out, or a lot of pieces on our back end when it comes to offer letters or things of that nature within our HR system that we use. And of course, me sourcing, using social media and other resources to create pipelines, building pipeline. Of course, I have a pool of candidates who I can reach out to at any time about a certain position, and just go ahead and reach out to them and say, hey, I'm Kiana, I'm recruiting for this position. Are you interested? Something along those lines, but more engaging. The next piece is sales. And who gets customers to buy the product? Well, it's sales. And so there's sales on an enterprise level, as mentioned before, and there's sales at a lower level. There are all types of companies that use VMware, to education, to small nonprofits, to companies such as Microsoft. So it really is a big driving machine, because we have to have people buying our product, right? Just like any other business. So for sales, as a sales development rep, especially as an intern, it involves a lot of cold calling and emailing prospective candidates and booking demo calls and presenting products to prospective clients. No tech is required. However, having a true passion for sales and hitting those goals is definitely imperative. And some of those degrees, definitely psychology. Once you understand how the mind works, you can definitely sell to individuals. Sales, marketing, or business is also something that is usually, those degrees are usually looked at for these programs. And like I mentioned, some other career paths in sales include account management, so technical account manager, inside sales reps and customer success managers and solutions engineer. These are all our sales and kind of account managers. Account managers don't necessarily sell. They more so kind of manage the product once a client or customer group has bought multiple products from us. And so here we'll see a day in the life of a solutions engineer.
Hi, my name is Benjamin and I'm currently a Year 3 NTU student taking computer engineering. And I joined VMware as a solution engineer intern about 4 months ago. So I'll be running over what my typical day is like working from home. So my day starts at around 8 to 8:30 in the morning when I get up and go and make myself some breakfast. Usually it's eggs and a cup of milk. And then right after breakfast, I head back to my room and start working. So as an intern from NTU, we're required to do a project for the company. So we're building a simple web application complete with a database and a web server, and it's displayed on the client's browser. And every 1 to 2 weeks, I have a meeting with my project partner to discuss what can be added or what can be changed and what can be improved, stuff like that. And sometimes we get to sit in on other SEs meetings with their customers, so we can get more exposure to what it's like to be in the role of a solution engineer. I end my day around 5:30 to 6, where I'll save my work and then have dinner with my family. I'm really enjoying my time here at VMware because even as interns, we're really well taken care of and we're given lots of attention. And the project we're given is really exciting for me, and I wouldn't have learned this much about the tech industry and this much about web development if it weren't for this internship. So I'm actually really thankful for the opportunity to join VMware as an intern. So if you want to learn more about VMware, you can visit us at our Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn pages to find out more. Thanks for watching the video. Bye.
So that was an example of a solutions engineer, kind of a day in the life. So they as well do sales, kind of in that sales realm. Same thing. They have some technical background, but really, from what I've recruited and sourced for, not so much, but it does depend on the team and if it's a new grad position or a senior level position. So next up is account manager. As I mentioned before, after a client group purchases our products, they need some support, right? So they are not necessarily technical support, like who you would call if someone is locked out of an account, can't remember their password. They're more proactive, right? So if there are new features within our product, the account managers present them and they solve problems for the clients. They get them onboarded and show them, hey, book demos, hey, here's this new feature I think you could use. So it really boils down to understanding your client, because if you have 3 nonprofits and then you have 3, let's say, finance companies, you're presenting to them in 2 different ways because they're 2 vastly different companies and 2 vastly different industries. And so it's going to look different in your presentation to them. Must have a true passion for customer service. And like I mentioned, no tech and low tech involved. If you have some knowledge, that's fantastic. But customer service is really going to be a driving force within sales as well as being an account manager. Bachelor's degree is usually looked for an management information systems degree, maybe business and information systems or anything similar of that nature. And so here's a day in the life of an inside territory manager. So here's our day in the life of an inside territory manager.
Hi, I'm Isin. I am with VMware's inside sales team covering commercial accounts in the Philippines market. While working from home, my day typically starts at 7 or 8 a.m. with a session of yoga. I then have a quiet breakfast and during this time write a to-do list for the day. I find this very useful to help me stay focused away from the many distractions that I get while working from home. So I split my day into 4 segments. First, I have a list of who I consider to be my VIP customers, and I message or call them once every 1 to 3 weeks to find out how they are doing. The second part of my day is spent on progressing my existing deals. And this is actually what I spend most of my time doing because it involves many different activities. It can be a simple phone call to find out like where are we on the PR process, to a 2-hour presentation to a customer over Zoom. And since most of my customers are based in the Philippines, I like to have video calls with them and at least have a virtual face-to-face discussion. For larger deals, I like to spend some time doing account planning, reading up on the customer and his industry, or preparing some presentation slides. The third thing that I do is lead generation, and I spend around 1 to 2 hours a day looking for projects that I can work on in the future. So I try to wrap up all my work by around 5 to 5:30 in the evening, and I like to spend the last hour of my day reading. I make sure to spend at least 10 to 15 minutes reading on news in the Philippines, so at least I know what's happening there, and also to read up on trends or news in the tech industry. For me, I really like to surf LinkedIn and find out what are my peers or other people in the industry talking about. If I'm in the mood for it, I like to post some creative content on LinkedIn as well. And just like that, another day is over. For me, I really enjoy my role as an inside sales because I get to be a consultant, a teammate, a friend, and more. So I joined VMware as a new graduate 1 year, 10 months ago, and look at all the fun that I've had in this time. My favorite part about VMware is that it is a very inclusive company, and that means a lot to me. And if you're a student looking to explore a role in the tech industry, you should definitely check VMware out. Follow our Instagram or LinkedIn page for more information. Thanks for watching. Bye!
Awesome. So our next one is marketing. And marketing, of course, how are people going to know about our product? And so field marketing coordinator, they support the team with administrative and event logistics. They use tools to support the team's day-to-day activities and create field marketing plans on a regional basis and identify a sales region to support and collaborate with sales leaders and account executives. So these teams we do a lot of collaboration here at VMware. So it would not be surprising to collaborate with sales and account executives because they all deal with the customer facing, even though they're dealing with completely different roles. As I mentioned before, account executives don't necessarily sell. However, they're facing customers, and so it's imperative that they do work together and understand all three, like how marketing, sales, and managing these accounts go hand in hand. Product management, of course, they establish solid working relationships with engineering, marketing, and business stakeholders, and they review product requirements and putting together a long-range roadmap to help shape the future of what it means to deliver cloud-based VMware technology. So it's still no to low tech. However, some software skills may be needed outside of tech. So maybe like some project management softwares or things of that nature. Other careers that are in marketing, digital marketing, product line manager, and product marketing. So our next slide, we'll see an example of digital marketing.
Hey everyone. My name is David Zarganpour, and I am the intern at VMware on the VMware on VMware program. And today I'll be taking you throughout my day. Hope you enjoy. My day usually starts around 7 o'clock. I wake up and then I head to the bathroom to then get ready to go to the gym. I usually am out of the house by 7:15, kind of eat a light breakfast, and then I kind of eat when I come back. After I shower and everything, I tend to start working at around 8:45. Usually start off with my emails and then tend to get into projects and things like that. Around 11:30, I then start to make my lunch. Today, it was a quick sandwich, turkey sandwich, my favorite. It kind of depends. Sometimes I'll go out, but today, I had some time between meetings, and so I decided to put a sandwich together. I then get back to work at around 12:15. Lunch kind of depends on how busy I am. Sometimes I'll just be 30 minutes, but I'm just, eager to get back. And then kind of my day ends around 5 on average, and I like to kind of get some air because I've been inside all day. So I go on a board ride um, with my electric longboard because it's really fun. And that is a sneak peek into the day in the life of a VMware intern. After my longboarding, it kind of depends on what I do. I'll sometimes go play golf, tennis, or even just hang out with friends. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please don't hesitate to reach out with any of your questions. Thank you.
Awesome. So I like to take this time just to make sure you connect with us, whether it's university's talent you're looking for, or if you're an alumni watching this and you are, interested in some of our more industry hires. And that is it for me today. But I like to say, thank you. And I encourage you to, like I said, connect and check out our careers page. If you think that tech is not for you, I encourage you to think twice. Like I said, you don't have to be able to code. You don't have to be able to know what a kernel is besides, something that makes popcorn. It's so many, there's so many opportunities for everyone to be in tech. And so, like I said, I encourage you all just to take a look, ask questions when you don't understand, ask questions, inquire, because you never really know what could be, behind that door if you never even, think about opening it. So that's it for me. And again, thank you for your time. And again, reach out to me if you have any questions. Thanks.